All right, broski, it's T and I'm back with another video on, you know who, man, the vegan slave, fitness slave, lifting slave, gym slave himself, Jason, Blaha Strength and Baloney Fitness and Baloney Strength. But Jason, early humans were hyper carnivores per research. Okay, let's review what this video is about. 'Cause I bet you it's all shit anyways.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would sit down this morning and do a video for you guys.
Yes, I bet he just wanted to make this video so badly for you guys because, man, Blaha loves you, bro. He's like, oh, I got a heart for you, bro.
Alright. So, this is a response to one of the whole threads that I had.
Does he ever get out much these days? Like, you know, a lot of people, man, I don't know what he's sitting in their garage for all the time. He's always at home. Man, bro, you need to get out more often, man. Come on. You're looking pale there. The head, maybe the hair might grow back if you go in the sunlight. Have you ever tried that? It kind of helps for some people. I don't know.
On my channel last night and this morning.
Definitely will get some vitamin D. That'd probably help with the physique. The physique, yeah? Yeah, the vitamin D. Oh, shit, there's no hope for that physique.
And I had some people chime in, and there were multiple people saying, well, this is fact. And what's crazy to me is that these people, number one, don't seem to understand what this data is that they're looking at.
We don't know what this data is. I could tell you in cold climates like Siberia, mostly all cold climates, people, and the majority of the planet at that time was pretty cold. You would never survive as a vegan there. And anyways, these plants, these fruits and vegetables cannot be found in nature, the ones that are engineered by man. And then they use that, and then they engineer other stuff called processed foods with that stuff. That's what they did. You as a hunter going out in the forest, you wouldn't find any of these things. And even if you did find some weird fruits hanging out there, you probably wouldn't want to eat them. Trust me, up north, my property up north, we have apple trees. These are wild apple trees, okay? They just grow wild in the forest. These deer come by and they eat them. They're extremely sour and they taste like shit. And they're poisonous. You just know they are. You just whip them, you throw them. Now, I'm not saying in some hot climates there might be some vegetables around, like some of these, you know, like jungles or whatever. Yeah. But the majority of people live in deserts. A lot of people live in deserts. They live in hot climates. In Mongolia, it's a known fact they eat a lot of meat. There isn't anything growing there. They eat shitloads of meat, and they eat a lot of like horse milk and goat's milk and whatever. They eat animals. They have a lot of grass. There's a lot of grass growing there, but there's nothing else growing there. It's weird desert. It's just a weird place. In Siberia, same thing. It's cold climate. They eat meat and a high-fat meat diet. Animals. You'd never survive in these climates, not even where the Eskimos are, Canadians and everything up north and all this. All these places up north, they pretty much eat meat and high fat. You wouldn't survive there. And in these desert places like in Africa or Middle East or wherever, they're eating animals where there's just grass they're growing. They eat these animals. That's it, basically. Now, like I said, the planet is not so filled with these jungles. And you may be so lucky to find some of these fruits growing in the jungle. But the fruits and vegetables that you're looking at today are growing on plantations. They're grown by farmers. Everything, even the cattle, these cattle, the animals, they're all raised on there. You have fish farms, you have goat farms, you have chicken farms, you have like fucking beef farms. The animals themselves have not changed. Now, it's hard to say what these people are feeding these animals. That's what could be causing the problems as well, because it's not their diet. You feed any animal an unnatural diet and you're looking for trouble, like humans. Humans can eat fruits and vegetables, but when you eat those, you're in for a big surprise, a lot of trouble. Believe me, inflammaging right away. So on a carnivore, your natural carnivore diet, which you've been eating for centuries, because we're northern people, us white people, whatever. Our natural diet was high-fat animal diets. Yeah, man. We didn't really farm. We started to farm at some point, which is stupid because we became sedentary. We weren't hunting and gathering anymore. You know what I mean? We wanted to stay put in one place. And that was the problem. That's the reason why they farmed. That's the reason why the Dutch disappeared in Greenland. they couldn't survive the climate change there over 500 years ago. They tried to live there. The Eskimos outlived them. The colonies, the colonists that were there in Greenland, they died because the climate change and the farming died with it. That's why on this planet, if the climate was to change at any point, it would be not self-sustaining. It wouldn't self-sustain you. The amount of food that they have out here for the populations, they couldn't sustain them. You're in for a big trouble. That's why they're worried about climate change, everything. Bill Gates, he wants to make this weird food, fake stuff, whatever, and feed you a bunch of fake stuff and bugs and whatever. Because he says we can't feed the world. Because maybe he knows something we don't know. Maybe climate change is really happening. Because it's happened periodically. There's a climate change, and then you can't grow anything. It just doesn't grow. And what are you going to do? Eat all the animals? There won't be anything left on the planet. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I can't tell you the whole story, but let's listen to this goofball.
Actually familiar with it. I have read all this stuff. I am familiar with all the anthropology involved with our speciation into Homo sapien, what we know from the fossil record as far as historical.
That's all fake. Nobody can prove anything of this historical fossils, whatever we are. But we do know we were definitely hunter and gatherers.
Diets, things like that. And so it's and I've discussed these things in detail in the videos. So to me, it's always interesting that people act like.
And we know through science that these plants have toxins in them called oxalates and a bunch of other toxins. They're nasty, they're poisonous, and they're sugar. They make you insulin resistant. They're anti-nutrient because of the toxins, the poisons. So yeah, are they healthy for you? Absolutely not. They're deficient in nutrients anyways, and you can't digest cellulose. It's impossible or any of these things, and it's harmful for you. It's bad for your health. It says that in science.
I'm not aware of this stuff. It's comical.
But meat has no sugar in it or any poisons or toxins. It's nutrient dense. That's why you get full very fast if you were to eat meat, like regular meat. Like, I'm not talking about cooking, frying it to death, killing it. If you fry your meat or your steak or you put it on a barbecue, you kill the water-soluble vitamins. So you get too much of these fat-soluble vitamins. They may be hanging around. But the water ones, they're gone, man. And so too much fat-soluble could be very bad for you. You need these water-soluble vitamins more, if anything, because they go in and they go out. That's the problem with water-soluble. You have to constantly take an intake of them. So yeah, you got to eat it. You pretty much your diet was raw at some point, see, but it's not raw anymore.
But I'm going to jump into a minute the whole hyper.
Why do you think everybody's overfed and undernourished? You're constantly screaming that you're starving. It's like, it's lunchtime, I'm starving. Why are you starving? Because overfed, undernourished. Your food that you're eating is devoid of any nutrients. Yeah.
Or thing, and people are missing the point that that's not our species, first of all. We'll jump to it in a minute, but that's what we need to understand, because I mean, the person led off with, I bet you don't even know what early man, and I assumed he was talking Homo sapien at that point, because I replied with what we know. This is the problem with why we make fun of the paleo diet as being historically accurate. Okay?
I don't know anything about these diets, paleo, whatever. They're just giving them names. This is just what people started eating because they started eating for taste. That's what happened at some point. And then, you know, these people, they started ordering these chefs and everybody for taste. But eventually they realized meat is much more healthier. Yeah.
Here's why. When we do find Paleolithic humans, that's what we're finding humans before the last glacial period. And again, by human I mean Homo sapien, not other hominids. I think it's a stretch to call other hominids humans, but you know, some experts do that. But I'm talking specifically Homo sapien as the species. It is genetically what we are today. Okay? Homo sapien. When you find those Paleolithic humans with an intact GI tract, they always include grains, almost always.
The grains, because the slave diet, they started eating grains, and then our brains and our bodies started shrinking. Grains cause every problem known to mankind. That's the problem. The moment we started eating grains, that was it for us, bro. The slave diet. You could call this slave diet, slave food.
Like 90% of the time. There's grains, there's usually root vegetables, usually plant matter, and bugs. Now, that being said, it's like when you mention the bugs, other people get upset. Like, I don't want to eat bugs, so I'm not going to eat bugs. I don't care. I'm not interested in it. To me, it's gross. You know, to each your own.
Yeah, don't worry. Bill Gates is going to make you eat those bugs because you guys are part of the same family.
I don't eat shellfish and stuff either. Lobster's just a roach. But I digress. That'll probably be the only thing people take from this whole thing. They're going to ignore all the other stuff. They're going to say, oh, blaha called lobsters roaches, and they're going to make 37 videos about it. But that is what we find in their
Blaha's nobody, man. We're just making fun of you, bro. This is fucking parody hour.
GI tracts. Homo sapien has never been a hyper carnivore. We have eaten whatever we can find. That is why.
No. We've eaten if we couldn't eat animals, if we couldn't hunt them down, we wouldn't want to walk around starving. Look, if you eat a piece of bark, does that mean it's healthy for you because you ate some bark because you were starving? You wanted to curb the hunger pains? How about these dinosaurs that were found with rocks in their stomach? They wanted to curb the pain in their stomach. Does that mean it's healthy for you to eat rocks? Of course not. This is stupid.
Our species has thrived the way that it has, is that we have had the ability.
Yeah, you want to curb the pain in your stomach to carry you over. You can't live for 30 days without food and about 2 weeks without water. So basically, you could keep going for quite a while. Now, you want to curb the pain in your stomach. Yeah, you might eat these tubers or something, maybe some, I don't know, who knows what, sand or something, or whatever, leaves or some shit. You'll eat anything. When you're hungry, everything tastes good. That's the problem. That's what we realized.
To cook and prepare, and we're intelligent enough to figure out how to make
But again, that doesn't mean it's healthy for you.
everything around us edible. We learn how to process whatever we find, cook it. And no, these people are like, oh, they don't know you.
Just because we got too ahead of ourselves, we're too smart. Sometimes being too smart could be a bad thing. You think you're too smart, and then you think, yeah, I can eat anything. I could do this, I could do that. But in fact, your body hasn't evolved to eat any of these plants. You understand me? These fake engineered plants. Your body has not evolved. Your body is still the same body that it was 100,000 whatever years ago or something. Eating a raw carnivore diet. Organs, meat, and blood. Yeah.
Homo sapien is not a raw meat eater. That's complete nonsense.
Homo sapien is absolutely a raw meat eater. That's what we ate first before we got into this. Before they started feeding us a slave diet, and then, they started eating for taste, not for health.
Again, they're referring back to Homo erectus, not Homo sapien. They had a difference.
No, there's no such thing as that. No, he's making it up, man.
Stomach acid acidity than we do, just like a lot of predators do. They have a higher.
You don't have a 4-stage stomach. You have 1-stage stomach. You can't eat grass. You can't process grass. You don't have the enzymes to do that. Only these animals do, not humans.
Stomach acidity, they can handle the bacteria in raw meat better. We don't handle it that well. We are cooked food eaters.
We handle it absolutely. There's no bacteria. There's nothing in meat, okay? The only way you get bacteria in meat is when humans handle it. Once they expose it, they start cutting it up, they handle it, they put it these dirty, use dirty machines. They're not clean or anything, and they're touching it with their hands and doing a bunch of stuff. That's when you get bacteria, and then you would call that food poisoning. Even these fruits and vegetables, you could get food poisoning from them if they're handled by humans. Touching stuff, bacteria getting on it, stuff like that.
By and large, other than, fruits and some vegetables. But the cooking was a big part of the development of our brain. And we know this. And we are.
Cooking was the big development of our brain because we were cooking for taste. That's our problem. And, it's a marketing ploy and it's money and whatever. In nature, everything is free. Everything is given to you for free. People were stuck on islands. They ate raw fish, raw animals, whatever was there. They ate it raw. They did not die. Why didn't they die? They didn't have pots and pans or anything. to cook or whatever, so they had to eat it raw. They survived.
Starch-based species. Starch will always be the primary fuel source of Homo sapien, because that's what we've adapted to eating, and then we fill in the gaps with other stuff. So let's get over to what these
Absolutely not true.
people are talking about. They're talking about records going back millions of years. 1 million, 2 million.
So what? 1 million, whatever, I don't know.
Homo erectus was the longest lived hominid. The number of large land animals, again, mammoths, bisons, things like that, that they did thrive on those. And they pack hunted them, they hunted them, and they ate a very meat-heavy diet. All right. Things to keep in mind, their brain was still smaller than ours. They still had less muscle and stuff than us.
That's funny. They said that their brain was bigger than ours. Their skulls were bigger, and so were their brains. It wasn't until we started eating grains that our brains and our skulls started to shrink, and so did our bodies. We were actually a lot bigger and stronger in the past.
Keeping in mind, they averaged anywhere from, they're noting about maybe 5 foot up to about 6 foot 1.
Think about it. What are grains? Seeds, right? Why do you think you can eat seeds? Why would a human believe or think that he can eat a seed? You can't digest seeds. It goes in, doesn't digest, goes out. See what I mean? And they're filled with cyanide, bunch of toxins and shit, because that's the plant's defense mechanisms. Their defense mechanisms are poisons and toxins.
They never got above 150 pounds, and that was the largest males. So, again, people were over here
Absolute lie. He has no proof of that. Prove it. Can he prove it? No. He doesn't.
talking about trying to do this sort of diet to gain muscle or whatever. I mean, you're using your model as a species that never got over 150 pounds, even when they were over 6 foot. Just put that in perspective. But their stomach acidity was different. Their brains were considerably smaller. So keep in mind, this is a
Absolute lie. He's making this shit up, man.
species that we don't know if they were even capable of speech or not. This is still
Why does he actually think he actually knows something? Are people actually listening to this crazy person? See what's on his comment section. God, I hate this myth. Humans ate whatever was available to them. No, it's a vegan diet is survival food. If they ate any tubers or plants or something, it's survival food. That isn't your food. That's survival. They found a body somewhere in Europe, dated back a couple thousand years. He stood 6'6" and were able to see his last meal: milk, bread, and red meat. Well, there you go. I don't know. Well, Laundra could give video thumbs up for me. Garbage. These are garbage comments. Hey, coach, can you still gain muscle and strength? You eat one meal a day or intermittent fasting, providing my calories are still adequate? What the fuck? Vegan Gaze is on the road to a 405 bench. Yeah, right. Tell him, blaha. You tell him, blaha. Man, these people that write are crazy. 40,000 years ago, cooking grains. How do you explain nitrogen isotope dating in the long bones of various skeletal remains that they've been found from ancestors the way throughout atomically agricultural revolution? I don't know. They discovered things on the way.
debated as to whether they just used some form of pseudo-communication because they clearly worked in packs, or whether they could actually verbalize language. In fact, it's not even a direct follow. Furthermore, looking at a record like that is not how you determine what is optimal for us. Because quite frankly, we live longer. We live longer than even Paleo man did in our own species. So you need a context for that. What you use to determine what is ideal, we look at epidemiology, we look at metabolic ward studies. Furthermore, we have changed and adapted to agriculture. All right, it has affected our gene flow. Again, agricultural society.
What does that have to do? You haven't changed in thousands of years. You're still the same person. You haven't evolved.
For thousands and thousands
If anything, we're devolving.
of years has impacted our gene flow and our genome. We've adapted to that very, very well. So when people want to use other records, keep in mind, just like we see the same thing in dogs. I mean, that's a perfect example for people who don't get it. All dogs were once hunts wolves. All right? Hopefully we all understand this. Because we've domesticated them to the environment true in the research and data. That's not even really a point of real contention at this point. And whatever Homo erectus...
He's funny. All dogs were wolves. No, dogs are not wolves. They're dogs. And wolves are wolves. Yeah. He's nuts.
2 million years ago isn't relevant to what you as a modern...
There's actually no proof of any of that. It's all speculation and everything, man. They've got nothing. They found nothing. They find some skulls that they don't really know for sure. A lot of the stuff is just basically they're making it up. I'll see you in the next one. Tell what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. This is fake again. Carnivore is your natural diet. That's why you're healthy. People always go on carnivore diets. People leave vegan diets for carnivore. Everybody goes to carnivore. They eat carnivore. Why? Because carnivore is not harmful and is got all the nutrients that you need to, and it's anti-aging actually, meat, believe it or not. It says it in Google, but yeah, man, I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao. I gotta go. This is Jason Blaha, crazy. Who cares?